We are going to start the third session under the title Marketing in the local market and in the international market, the problems and the role of the entities to provide the solutions. Mr. Hisham Gazzar, the CEO of Yadawi for exports, Dr. Ali Awni, the manager of Gerhart Center, and Miss Sahar Sakkout, Creative Egypt Initiative, Miss Mariam Nash'at from Creative Egypt Bank Alexandria, and the moderator will be Dr. Abla. We are going to start the third session. Actually, the two previous sessions were very enthusiastic, and the separating between the issues is not that easy. And for this reason, when we are talking about Handicrafts, we actually talked about marketing and talked about the soul and about sales. And actually, I phone called Mrs. Shahira, and we were talking in the same issue. Before I start talking about marketing, I would like to say something concerning the airports. I was listening carefully to what you were saying. I feel very sad for the place allocated for the articrafts in the airports. We are very shy. We are very ashamed to have such a place. On the other side, if you go to Dubai, that has nothing. Actually, all the countries, they only have camel and dates. They have a big and a wide corridor with all the articrafts. The most terrifying example in this issue, maybe I am the only one that noticed this, that Terminal 2 in airport, the first thing that you see, that the tourists see in Terminal 2, did you notice this or not? It's a big hall. After you take your passport, and there is a booth in the middle. There are some
شكلها حلو يعني مش هي الفكرة احنا بنتكلم على بوث مهول يعني مساحته مثلا نص القاعة دي حلل اكيد احنا عندنا حاجه اكتر من كده نقدر نوريها للسائح.
kitchen pans.
فالمنظر ده بيستفزني لدرجه
it makes me very nervous. It makes me very nervous. Once I know that I'm traveling from Terminal 2, I feel very sad. So we are going to talk about marketing.
اللي موجودين في البانل.
Actually, the panelists
موجودين لغرض
واضح. They are here for a clear reason, not because that they are very famous, but they are here for a specific reason. Each one of them are going to talk about a specific perspective. Dr. Ali Awni, he will talk about marketing from the strategic positioning perspective. It's not just saying, okay, let's compete China. It doesn't work like this. The other three panelists, they are related to specific models for marketing. Internal and external marketing. Dr. Sahar, Mrs. Sahar, Creative Egypt, established by the AMC. It is an excellent model for the internal marketing. Mr. Hisham Gazzar, an exporting company. Miss Nash'at from Bank of Alexandria. And they do something about gathering the informal sector. The whole issue is how to deal with the informal sector, how to benefit from their products, and how can we sell their products, how can we establish this relation. So we are going to talk in our we are going to talk about this in order to benefit from the reason of this session.
لغرض في نفس
I will let Dr. Awni to be the last one speaking.
والأستاذ هشام
Mr.
الجزار
Hisham Gazzar, he took the lots are not going to start with you.
معلش الله يخليك زي ما انت بالظبط جندر فايس انا هبتدي
I'm going to start actually with Miss Mariam.
بنك اسكندريه
Bank of Alexandria and specifically
بيعمل ايه المبادره
what's the initiative of Bank of Alexandria
تسويق
in marketing,
منتجات مين وانهي جمعيات
what kind of products, what associations, what are the procedures that you adopt. You have only 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. Tell me about your initiative. And the next question, what are the problems or what are your recommendations? First of all, my name is Mariam Nash'at from Bank of Alexandria. I am the head of a unit of the creative initiative for the social responsibility because it reflects the joint value, and as we benefit from our partners, we benefit from them as they are customers for Bank of Alexandria and they are loyal to the bank. First of all, the initiative of Creative Egypt started in 2012. It means target is to protect the heritage and the culture and to empower the artisans throughout many axes. Number one is we have partner, which is a Nida association. We worked in the field of training for the male-dominated crafts. We helped the association to give the opportunity for the women to be trained. The second pillar that we work on it is the design and the packaging enhancement, and this is throughout the annual gifts of the bank, which is now our season gifts from the bank, like during the months of Ramadan, for example. This is considered to be models. I will take you through the models because this is a kind of internal marketing. First of all, we, as Dr. Abla said, we take someone that we focus on someone that is not registered, for example, and we take an example for Mary. She established Makrami Roh. We cooperated with her. She didn't have any registration. She didn't have any tax card, and we helped her in her project. And after designing, she trained many women in a suit with a specific quality. And then after this, we worked with her on branding and packaging of the macramé branding, that we wrote the story of Mary and the story of the ladies that Mary helped and put it on the macramé. So the one receiving the macramé, we know the value of the macramé. And we actually agreed with Mary on a specific time for delivering. So she learned through this experience to train the women, to train the ladies, to do branding for the products and to deliver on time. And at the same time, eventually she benefit from the project to register herself, and now she has a bank account, and very recently she's going to get a loan in order to scale up her project. Number 4 is the internal and the external exhibitions and fairs. We contribute in the internal fairs, but there is something that was said by Mr. Musad Omran, is that we are not dealing with the artisans as a number. We work with the artisan as a human. So when we contribute in the exhibition, we see how they would like to display their products. We create a WhatsApp group and we start discussing with the artisans about all the needs and all the requirements. We try to provide it. And also we can reduce the price of the land, and sometimes we give the land completely for free. In addition to this, we work on the marketing for any exhibition or fair. Either we are main sponsor or not, or we are just partners. All these fairs and exhibitions, we work on marketing. We also contribute in the display aids, the POS, our POS machine. they are distributed among all the displayers on 0% commission. And last year, with the cooperation with the council, we actually provided credit card in installments. In addition to this, by the end of the exhibition, we conduct a survey to know the feedback of the clients and also to know the feedback of the displayer, of the artisans, how the people was dealing with them. Did you have enough bags or not? The POS was functioning or not? If someone came to you and didn't have a card and he wanted to pay cash, do you have a cash point machine near to you or not? So we do such kind of survey by the end of the exhibition. The last thing that we do is training, not only technical training, but actually financial training. We do financial training with the cooperation with the central bank under the umbrella of the initiative of the inclusion initiative, the financial inclusion initiative, and this helped the people to transfer from the informal to the formal economy, because they see, for example, that the guy sitting beside me, he has a POS, so he's getting jealous, so he would like to register and he would like to have a POS and he would like to get the cards. Do you do the survey? Please clap your hands for her. Do you conduct the survey for those who visited the fair? Their gender, what did they like, what did they dislike? We produce, but we don't know how to sell. So this is a way that I display the products. So do you have any kind of follow-up? To be honest, we don't do a survey for the clients or for the visitors, but each visitor, we take his data, his phone number, his name, and the sales, they tell us which products attract the visitors. While walking, we talk to them. What's your opinion? What do you think about this? But we don't conduct a survey. I think that this is a good idea. We can implement it in our coming exhibitions. I think this is a good way. You have to put it in your consideration, because you can know the feedback of the visitors. Do you have any specific or particular problem with the state that you always face in the fairs or the exhibitions? Later on, I'm asking you directly. Normally, we are dealing with an organizer, partnership, a partner. So for sure, we don't face the problems that they face with the state or with the government. Actually, we don't deal with the state or the government, but we have an example, which is at the airport. We try to be in the airport. The issue of the airport needs a deep look, and it needs a quick decision. Mrs. Sahar, Creative Egypt.
Good afternoon. At the outset, I would like to thank you, like all of us who have thanked you for this initiative or this campaign, and I'm going to talk about Creative Egypt model. 10 minutes, okay. I'm going to talk about 6 points, cover 6 points. An introduction on Creative Egypt, how it started, what are the targets of Creative Egypt, why we have registered a brand, what are the marketing services that we provide as a center, what are the challenges we meet, and what is the objective for us. I can't use it.
Okay. Creative
Egypt, as Dr. Abla has mentioned, it's a program that was established by the EDA. It's an NGO and it's affiliated to the center of the Ministry of Trade and Industry. In 2006, there was a program that has to do with handicrafts, with traditional crafts, and annually we had a fair in the fair, like the Bank of Alexandria, just to display our products, but not on a permanent basis. The handicrafts sector depends mostly on tourism that represents 80% of its income, those who buy the products. As Dr. Abla has mentioned, when the revolution broke out and the instability started to take place, they started to, the sector started to suffer from deterioration. When we were included in Phoenix exhibition in 2015, and the entrepreneurs started to enter, and it was on the Nubi style. And at that time, we had the idea that, based on an assignment of the Prime Minister, to have a permanent basis outlet for the handicrafts of the entrepreneurs and artisans, just to display the Egyptian heritage and to be like a cultural center or a cultural hub. And we opened the Creative Egypt 2015 in Omar Effendi headquarters in Mohandesin, on more than 3,000 meters, and for 3 years we served more than 200 suppliers. I'm going to call them suppliers, not associations or entrepreneurs or designers, just to make it easier. And we had things that we did right and other things that we did wrong, but most importantly, we registered a brand, the first brand for handicrafts, Creative Egypt. The objectives, as I have mentioned, to have a permanent head office for marketing, so that those who are incapable of displaying products in 4 days and to be under the mercy of the bazaars in the touristic areas. If you are going to talk about the value chain, the artisan, despite the fact that he is the artist who is creating products and having excellent products, artisans take the least profit and the bazaars take the biggest portion of it. So to control these crafts and to guarantee their sustainability, we have to achieve justice. And this justice is going to be achieved by having sustainable Creative Egypt. Now we have more than 100 suppliers in different fields, all the fields of the handicrafts. Maybe almost 10,000 artisans are behind these 100 suppliers that cover all the parts of Egypt. So when we talk about Creative Egypt and its advantages, its competitive advantages, is that it's interested in designs. The designs have to be creative and modern. What are the criteria based on which we choose the products? It has to be, the product has to be of high quality, and at the same time, marketing. I don't know how many of you have visited the Creative Egypt Fair.
طيب يعني اوكي شكلي كده ان احنا بنعمل حاجه صح.
I think that we are doing things right, because if there are so many of you who have visited the fair, so it means that we are on the right track. As I have said before, the fair is not in the form of a gallery, it's in the form of a hub. It reflects the Egyptian civilization from all the parts of Egypt. You're going to find products from Sinai, from Nagada, from Tali of Shandawil, the carpets from Fowa, the marble from Goa, the candles, the wooden crafts and the handicrafts, and they have to be of high quality. You have to be handmade, and they have to be of creative designs. These are the targets. Why we are interested in having a brand. Now when we started based on a survey conducted by a market research office. We identify the target groups, and it is at certain segment of the Egyptian population. We are talking about the local market. Those who like heritage or interested in heritage, like what Donia has mentioned. So many of who are linked to the Egyptian handicrafts and know the values. The competitive privilege or advantage, as I have said, we have the biggest variety of handicrafts with high quality. To have this brand, like any other thing, it's like a newborn. I communicate with target sector via various channels, including the place in which we exhibit, the showroom or the branch of Creative Egypt, through social media, Facebook, Instagram. And what we talk about is that the elements related to this brand and that have to be there. Otherwise, the brand is going to lose credibility. We conducted a workshop with WIPO for intellectual property, and this is one of the things that we are going to work on, to have collective brand name for the natural clusters of the villages like Gorna and Tel Isha and Dawil, to have their collective brand, like Akhmim, to have their collective brand. This is beside the individual brand of the product. So when we have a brand for the Egyptian handicrafts with its associated elements, they are going to grow as if I am building or constructing a building with blocks. What are the marketing services provided by the development center or development industry center? The artisan with who I deal in Higaza, he works and he has art pieces. He works in the open air without any ceiling. To carve or to have sculptures for motherhood and these statues, he does not have a place to protect his products. And Gorna has so many workshops and they work in hard conditions as well. But the product is excellent and is with high quality. And the marble, especially in one of the fairs, IMC went to exhibitions with Creative Egypt, and they only had so they were only marble of Egypt, and we sold a big vase by 50 euros, and we found out that the interior designer who took it, do you think how much money did he put it on the website? $900. He priced it by $900. So what I wanted to clarify is that the small artisans or the small designers have to benefit from Creative Egypt and from its details, like designing processes for the products, to have posts on the social media, establishing websites, selling online. There are so many details that entrepreneurs can make use of, but the companies or those small producers, if they don't know where to go, they can come to us in Creative Egypt, and we are going to accept those only who meet the criteria. There are so many challenges, as you have mentioned, the designs, to supply the products on time. I need them to give me the products, to deliver the products on time. So those suppliers with who we deal, what makes the difference between their profitability is the speed or with which they provide us with the products, because markets have their own dynamics. And I, as an artist or a designer or entrepreneur, I have to accelerate my productivity and delivery. There are other challenges with respect to marketing, but what I want to say is that our utmost objective is to have other branches. This is based on the artisan's needs. And what we target as well is to be present and to be like a hub for culture that reflects our culture, and to be present in the airports. I've been trying to do this for 6 months, to be present as well in museums, to be in all the cultural places and venues, because this is the most important thing. The problem is that we are working on isolated islands, and that's why I appreciate today's opportunity to be here with you. And the franchise, as I have said, there are some people who want to take franchise of the brand Creative Egypt. Why? Because I'm going to guarantee them the quality, delivery on time, and I'm going to guarantee the biggest variety possible. And we have been approached by American clients, by Canadian clients, but we are taking it step by step. Last word to say, handicrafts, as they have said in the morning, it is a wealth in Egypt. And it's true that we have individual success stories, and this is the source of attraction for others. But handicrafts can have a positive impact on the Egyptian economy, and we have a room to grow. And thank you so much. I have two questions for you. Quickly speaking, allow me to talk about the problems that you have faced as Creative Egypt. You have very high prices. It's in Ahmed Arabi. Are you still in Ahmed Arabi? No, you moved. Okay. But when you were in Ahmed Arabi, it was very far away from the touristic areas. And supposedly you target tourists and citizens, but you were far away. Now in the New Cairo, so you are further far. You have to be linked to those who are going to buy you, but if you are going to be far away, it's going to be difficult. The prices, I know that the prices are very high. And the last point mentioned that the complexity of the designer, how we are going to integrate him into the value chain, how we are going to market the product. If he needs anything, you need to support the designer. With respect to our venue, we conducted a survey, as I have said. And with the money that we had, it was in Omar Effendi at the beginning on 3,000 meters. Now we are on 1,000 meters, and I said that we target a certain segment. Tourists, of course, love our products, but Class A and B love these products, and it's costly, and they appreciate it and value it, and that's why they buy them. And those clients who buy, they are sustainable clients who buy on continuous basis, and they can furnish the chalet and the apartment from Creative Egypt, because it's a brand loved by people, because it reflects the heritage. So as I have said, that we are going to open a branch in October and New Cairo. We preferred to have big places, big venues, to be like a hub for the heritage of Egypt. And we are a non-profitable organization. With respect to pricing, prices are not expensive, and this is based on a survey that's conducted on all the clients that we receive, and we have a team because the market is dynamic. Well, our team was sent to similar galleries. We conducted a survey on the prices. Our prices were less, and we increased them. I'm talking about Cairo Festival City. The third point, this is an important point, thank you. With respect to Industry Development Center, its mandate is limited to certain things. We deal only with the formal sector. Like the Bank of Alexandria, we cannot deal with informal sectors. How we can deal with artisans under the umbrella of a certain NGO? We have to have official documents. Once we have an account, they have 1,000 euros. We cannot give them this money unless in the form of a technical assistance. And after conducting assessment of this company or of this NGO, I identify the problems, fill in the gaps with the development plan that we agree on for several years. And so many people have received services and made their companies grow, and later on they wanted other methods and other methodologies, but they are not within our mandate, so we were not able to provide them with these things. I think we might need another meeting. We work on quality, work on designs, but we do not provide machinery. In fact, you can tell them, I cannot help you, but not to send them designers. Yes, you are right. We assist them to a certain limit. After that, there are smaller enterprises or persons that might be in need of us, but with respect to machinery, we do not provide machinery. We are going to have separate meeting on that. I went to you in Hijaz and I told you that you have to assist the small workshops in Hijaz, right or wrong?
قرب في القضية دي خالص.
When you came, you talked to me on the problems and so on. But the real problem is that the government, for example, has assigned 1 million Egyptian pounds to support handicrafts. Now we find out that the real problem of the handicrafts, have we identified the real problem, or are we inventing other problems? Okay, we got you. We need further discussions on with the government officers and with other stakeholders. Mr. Hisham and Gazzar, your specific activity that has to do with exportation. Talk about the system, what are the problems you face, and how we can scale up this model.
I will talk about the importance of studying the market and the importance of having the correct information about the target markets. When we talk about the markets, we say it's the European and the American market, and it is not divided like this. No, actually, when we talk. Are you targeting the men or the women or the youth? Then they say no. Let's talk about do you sell to a store or to an exporting or to an importing company? It's not like this at all. When we look at the division of the market, we look at the importers, we look at the retails, we look at the companies, the specialized companies that they are specialized in delivering gifts for specific companies. We also talk about the stores that they deal with the tourists. We talk about the stores that they are specialized in, that they are part of the fair trade. And this is another point that I was talking to Mrs. Shahira in it. It's very important now that the trade operation happened, but in a fair or a justice environment. the trader, the profit, to assure that the profit that goes to the trader will go to the artisan. And actually this is the idea of the fair trade or the justice trade. And for this reason, in the council, with the cooperation with the Bank of Alexandria, we trained about 20 companies. About 8 of these companies in 1 year they actually succeeded in getting the certificate of the fair trade. Now let's move talking to the e-trade or the electronic trade. When we look at the WhatsApp and it's a for free application, so we have to put a question mark here. The electronic trade now, the trend is that the Facebook and the Instagram, it's one company, they work, and in the coming few months we will be able to, when we see the photos of the products, those people who have Facebook shops, you're going to click at the bottom. You can buy directly from Facebook or from Instagram, and you can pay directly without visiting the website. What does this mean? It means that we don't need to put like 70 and 80,000 Egyptian pounds in launching a website and go through the stock and the protection regulations for the e-paying, for the e-payment. This will be the past. We are talking about a market that is dynamic, and if we don't change, if we are going to be very back behind the other countries. How can we benefit from this? We can benefit from this to create more job opportunities. I was expecting from the government to draft a law for the single companies to work households from their homes, like the USA, like to display their products on Amazon, for example. Or the only news that I read in the newspapers is how to take taxes from the artisans. Again, from among the things that we are talking about in the market, the hotels and the restaurants. This is a very important part, and every year we have every year a new hotel or a new restaurant that is going to be open. So there are lots of costs that are spent of the decoration, of the renovation of the hotels and the restaurants. In the latest, in the previous 2 years, the sporting clubs, I'm talking not in Egypt, that they spend millions and millions of dollars on the football players. The stores that they sell these souvenirs, the sales, they sell for a huge amount of money, and every year they look for companies that they have the capability of giving them various products. Now everybody is looking for what is new, what is updated. Even the buyer is looking for what's the latest model, what's the newest model. So when we understand the market, we will be able to understand how to communicate and how to sell to this market. Therefore, the company, it is not a must that the company is selling for all of these. We can train an Egyptian company to specialize in a specific product for a specific client. In the old black and white movies, we saw the doctor that is responsible for the whole family, for the whole family. Now, after this, we have different specifications, cardiology, gynecologist, dentist, whatever. So it is the same system. We need to be specialized. We will not be able to compete the countries like India, and like Mrs. Asda was talking about the Asian experiment, and I totally agree with her. We have number one India that export about $3.5 billion handicraft products yearly. So we need to benefit from their experience. We see what's the model that we can implement it in Egypt according to our circumstances, according to our history, and according to our culture. Why we are talking about exporting? Because this is the key that will make us understand lots of things when we talk about companies that they import from us. I got demands from companies, say for example the external box that is made out of cartoon to be like without any to be all stitched together. Why? Because here we are talking about green environment. They also, if they ask for a drop test, it has specific standards and specific criteria. But imagine I was doing a drop test on a product from 80 centimeters and to throw the box 10 times, and each time I throw it in a different way, and then after the 10 times I open the box and I see what happened to the product and what happened to the box. These are quick examples for the benefit of exporting. The labels, the instructions that should be mentioned on the labels, the story behind the product itself. We are not saying exporting for just exporting. For sure, we have lots of advantages for exporting, like foreign currency, but the most important advantage for exporting that it opens our eye how to improve the product in a proper way. Thank you. It's an excellent perspective for exporting, and how do we need to change lots of things in order to co-op with them. Actually the exporting company is responsible for going to the informal sector, take the products, and they sell these products. So as if this company is helping in the gradual transition for these groups from the informal to the formal economy. And by means of time, they will say, okay, I would like to work directly. Now I understand the market. I know the requirement and the demand of the market and can work directly. And in this situation, they will go to the second layer, and this will be by means of time. The market will be very dynamic, and gradually the transition will happen. Normally there will be a high leverage, like what you said, the drop test, the 85 centimeters. If you say this to someone of them, he might insult you. So it's a little bit funny. Not all the people are going to understand this, but what's sure that there is a kind of movement and changement in the market, and I think that exporting is one of solutions, because this department is informal and it's going to be informal forever. We need a way to reach these people to benefit from their products. For this reason, the fairs and the exhibitions is a good idea. Exporting companies is also a good idea. Again, the question: can we compete with China? I will give you the chance to speak about positioning. Only 10 minutes, please. She gave me only 10 minutes, so I'm going to skip the thank you introduction.
I'm going to start with a simple question, because there's a certain confusion. When we talk about workshop, it's not something primary. Those who do the haute couture, they do it in a workshop. So we have two ends for any operation: assembly line, and this tends to be a competition on the cost, And normally speaking, the amounts are huge and the options are few. On the other side, the job shop, flexible, high customization, but with high cost and few amounts. So if you agree with me, this is my definition on the handicrafts. Handicrafts, normally speaking, is a small scale. It's a niche market, and this is not a mass scale market. And it's always associated to a cultural heritage. Cultural heritage like something pharaonic, Coptic, Islamic. It has to do with this, with the country itself, with its history and civilization. The third thing, the designs, the motives of the designs are very local. Number 4, that there is a clear story behind it. This story might be historic heritage, and those who work on the job itself might be inspired by something. The artisan in Akhmim, when he works on works for like 4 months to have a bed cover, how much are you going to pay against it? But we do not tell this story. The last thing, which I think a little bit ignored, all these things have strong community connections. They are very geographically based. What does this mean? That when we talk about Adana, they do certain things. Siwa do certain things. They do it at home. And there are communities involved. If I know how to involve the community, they are going to identify their needs and their fields of specialities, not
هتلاقي حد طالع من بره نازل عليهم بباراشوت وبيقول لهم هتعملوا واحد.
And then I'm going to tell them, and when I tell them do 1, 2, 3, this is something wrong because I cannot limit them to these steps, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. An example on the Iranian or Persian rugs. When we talk about artisans and handicrafts, we cannot argue because the Al-Agami rugs are those of highest quality. I took this from an article of Newsweek that a man can do from 10 to 20 rugs. There are some rugs that take 60 years to be finalized. When you talk about this, it's worth the cost, of course. The Persians do this. They tell the story. When you look to the distribution process, this is I think it was in 2015. You found out that they paid 800 million within Iran, and outside it's 500 million. So this means that, oh yes, of course we export, but the majority of the products are sold within the same country of production. Allow me to move on. The mispositioning of the product. This is not a mass market, as I have said. A mass market, when you are going to, somebody tells you that you are going to compete with China. China is in different place. It focuses on the mass scale. If I focus on that this is a bed cover or a rug from Akhmim, Akhmim is the hub of the old ages. I'm not going to have any competitors. It's up to me what I want to do. So China is not a competitor. I'm playing with customers who are not worrying about the price. Those who buy souvenirs, they worry about the price. So let him buy it from anywhere. But when I'm talking about a certain person who is going to pay lots of money against a rug, we are not catering for this. We cannot do good branding. And I've seen so many people who have handmade furniture, they want to communicate with IKEA. IKEA, why? You do 3 or 4 pieces of furniture. You sell them in a boutique, customized for the furniture, to have customers that value the value that of your product. Simple example on this, Siwa. Go and buy carpets or rugs from Siwa. Ask them from where have they got it. 70% of the rugs they sell, they have it from Fall. There is a supplier that do it on a mass scale mindset, which is a strategic misfit, a disaster. This is the map of Egypt, and it was developed by the IMC. What's interesting about this is that when you look to the websites of the handicrafts, this matches completely the touristic map of Egypt. What is the importance of this? Turkey, they have silk rugs. If you have a stop that's called Kosidash, Ephesus, it has Roman ruins. It's one of the most preserved Roman ruins in the whole world. One of the things that you are going to cover in the tour is to stop in a rugs shop. It's a Turkish shop. And they give you food, drinks, and watch the rugs that you want. And the government, the Turkish government, pays the shipment fees. Anywhere in the world. They ship you the rug anywhere in the world. And the Turkish rugs are double knot. The whole world does the single knot. So when I want to learn a knot in India to make it in Egypt, this is nonsense. Why? Because you are ruining the motive, your indigenous motive. You can say, for example, that this rug is big and I'm going to buy a smaller one, but there are certain things, including the motif and the way you weave. These things are intrinsic with the same region, and you cannot change them. Some examples. These from Akhmim. This is a public company that talks about wholesaling for the rugs. This cover is one of a kind, so this is what's good about it. So why you sell it on a wholesale basis? These are the photos for the persons who work on the arts or on the crafts. Stories that have to do with heritage and culture, and stories have to do with the people who are working on it. And these are people who are on the story that we tell about them. Asad Nadim has talked about the artifacts of the Islamic era, and these are photos of furniture. You will be amazed when you look to this chair and its design. It's very futuristic, right? These actually are pharaonic pieces in the Louvre Museum. When you talk about what I can do, what I'm telling you is that our history is full of ideas. Even if you forget them or forget how you do them, restart it, reverse engineer it, and do them again, and it will sell. Imagine that you are in the Louvre and you have seen this, and if you tell the customer that you can do it in Egypt and sell it to them anywhere in the world, this is something amazing. The BBC had a program on treasures of ancient Egypt, but from a different perspective, from the artistic perspective. They were talking about monuments, statues, jewelry, and small crafts. This small piece is in the British Museum. It's a very small model for tilapia fish from glass. It's made. This link, you can share this link. If you look in the minute 28, the man in the British Museum was able to reverse engineer how it was made, and he was very impressed with the technicality of 5,000 years ago. It's all over the place. We have these things in our history, unique stuff, whether in the Pharaonic era, Coptic, Islamic, and we can revive them even if they have been extinct. But we are talking about an Egyptian status, and you are going to accentuate this Egyptian status to have the brand. The last thing I'm going to comment on is the community. When I talk about Said Abu Shara, this is a place in Monofia who produces silk rugs, and they used to have berries and trees, and they might spend 5 years doing a rug and sell it against 4,000 Egyptian pounds, and the customers pay them against 40,000 Egyptian pounds. So this is an exploitation. So to get rid of this exploitation, we have to have a community platform to have the design, to do the sourcing, to do the production, and to do the distribution. And this community platform is going to deal with the traders and with the donors even. At that time, when you have something like that, you're going to guarantee sustainability and continuation. GIZ are going to support this time, the next time British Council, okay, the third time another entity. So, and by the end, they are going to sustain themselves. So let us look to it from the community point of view, because it has a social impact dimension. There's something that I want to tell you, that to have a community platform, there's an issue of governance, and in Egypt we are bad with governance. But if you can adjust and have a community platform, this is the way to go for the future. Maybe I have jumped to so many things, but the summary of what I've said is that we are way off track. There is mispositioning of what we are doing when it comes to handicrafts. And that's what we were talking about, and thank you so much.
I have a quick question for you and a question for Mr. Hisham. Is it all niche, or we need a niche and mass for different products? For example, like the small souvenirs that the tourists buy, the small pyramids. I was responsible for an association that produced mass production of this, and we didn't know how to market it. It's very cheap. It's like for 20 Egyptian pounds. So it can be done by lots of people. It's very easy, and have like a mass production. So is it completely niche or niche and mass? Let's start with Mr. Hisham first. I just would like to differentiate between two things. We don't have to have a link between niche and mass. Let's agree with you. The niche is what's got a value and what's wanted now. The countries that they succeeded depending on this. Where is the problem? The problem is it's not because I'm working on niche. I do only 5 pieces, because when I do marketing, we are talking about 196 countries all over the world. If I have someone importing in each country wanting like 300 pieces, so in order to have it feasible, I'm going to work on 5 pieces, and the artisan is going to work on a rug for 6 years, for example. The first question that will come to my mind: who is going to pay for the cost of the artisan? If there is a company, an exporting company or a trader that will pay the fees or the salary of the artisan. You gave an example for the carpets, and the carpets is the most difficult art craft. The carpet takes from 6 to 8 months. If we are talking about other art crafts, we face a problem. Maybe it was mentioned by Mrs. Hala Ashur. when we are in the international exhibitions, because we are very small. We're not big companies. They prefer to deal with retailers in Europe and in the USA better than dealing with the importer. This is as a first step. That's for them the best step. I don't have a problem concerning this, but the problem that I face is that the client like the product because of the added value and because of the design. But the problem will be that we have like 5 pieces and the cargo is very expensive. So, for example, in the fair or in the exhibition, if we have 10 clients that they are talking about a specific piece, only 3 of them will continue till the end and buy the piece because it's very expensive. Now we are always doing our calculations, how much I'm going to pay to get the products. The importer is doubling the price from 5 to 7 times. In Europe, it's 5 times. In Europe, 5 times. In the USA, is 7 times. So it means that the price of the product that I put in dollars is going to be sold in the store with the VAT and the 7% because of the cost. We have to put all these factors in our consideration. I have to put myself in the shoes of the importer. Yes, I have India, that is a competitor in the textile, and as you said, Iran and Turkey in the field of the carpet and the rugs. I met lots of the traders that they work in the field of carpets and rugs, and I didn't find any one of them that is from Egypt. So I tell them, do you have any will to deal with Egyptian artisans or companies? They say, okay, we used to deal with you, but now you are very expensive. The latest study that was conducted in the exhibition of Ambienta in Germany, when we asked the buyers, what are you looking for? They said, we are looking for the unique product and the new design. We are looking for the quality. We are looking for the service, for the after-sale service, and price was the last factor. But at the same time, as I said, we have to look at the process as a whole, at the operation as a whole. Thank you. The big issue here is the branding of Egypt as a whole. When you talk about India, and India since 2000, they are talking about fabulous India and so on. When you do this, there are people in Egypt that they do costumes, and I cannot export costumes made in Egypt because of the issue of made in Egypt, because the quotation of made in Egypt does not meet the innovation or the fashion standards. What I see that at the beginning, it's a very different mindset. In order to do this, you need lots of effort, and we are very far from this. So I'm going to focus on the niche market. If we talk about mass production, this is a totally different story. You can do a kind of getting a license, a copyright. You are a diverge. You're passing through a diverge. So let me comment before I close the session. I will talk about a model that I witnessed personally, me and Hala Ashur, but unfortunately Hala Ashur left. In India, I got an invitation to visit an exhibition for art crafts, textiles, Indian art crafts, and to take with me 2 representatives from Egypt, and at that time I took 2. Hala was one of them. What they did in India brought like 250 buyers from all over the world. They hosted them in a 5-star hotel. They went to an exhibition center, and the exhibition for 50 Indian factories. They are very simple, handmade local products. They give to all the buyers a booklet with the names of all the participants and the contributors. They took a deposit from the 250 buyers. He will get it, but when
بتاعت على الأقل 50% من الناس
when he see about 50% of the products that they are displayed. Any place that he visited in the fair, he will sign in front of his name. The main target is not to buy, no, is to see, is to watch by your own eyes. And this exhibition was for 3 days for the buyers and 3 days for the citizens. And then after the exhibition was finished, it was a kind of a fashion show for modern clothes that they use their clothes, their traditional clothes. So they displayed the traditional costume in addition to modern costumes and modern dresses. And in the same event, they signed agreements with other countries. Actually, that was done by the state, by the government. No one paid a penny in this complicated system. This is a real effort to support and to enhance the art craft industry. So I hope that one day we can see this. And I wish that one of the recommendations that are going to be said at the end will help this. I would like to thank you for this rich session on the marketing and the strategical